Hey Southside family, welcome to our podcast. This is Southside, where we get to know more about the families here at Southside. Let's get into it. Hey Jared and Rebecca, thanks for joining us today. I'm so excited to see you guys. I feel kind of special because I get to really talk to you guys first.
Yeah, kind of the inside scoop. It's nice to get to talk to you too. We've heard so many good things.
Yeah. We didn't really even meet when you were here. It was just in passing. So
I saw you manning the camera from a distance.
Yes. And I don't know that I was here the Sunday that you preached.
No, I don't think so. Right.
Yeah. So this is kind of like our first official meet. So
yeah, nice to meet you.
Me too. All right. So we're going to start with just who you guys are and our normal start question is, where did you guys grow up?
Sure. Well, we're both from Arkansas as well as from other places. So it gets messy.
Born in Arkansas?
So Rebecca was not.
Yeah, I was born in Italy. My parents were missionaries there. I lived there for 5 years. Then we moved to Searcy. My dad's a teacher at Harding. And then so we moved from there to Natick, Massachusetts. And my dad did his doctorate at Boston University. My dad is from New England. And so that's kind of my tie to this area. And then back to Arkansas.
And that's where we met. Mm-hmm. So I come from a much less eclectic kind of background. I have not done all the traveling. What have you been to?
Not as well traveled?
No, not quite that many. I was born in Conway, same hospital that my dad was born in. Fun fact that nobody will care about, unless you're from Conway, of course, in which case, congratulations. We then lived in Russellville for 8 years. My parents met at Arkansas Tech through the campus ministry. So not too far from Northwest Arkansas. Russellville considers themselves Northwest Arkansas, but I don't think Northwest Arkansas considers Russellville Northwest Arkansas. What do you think, Ocean?
I think they're too far inland.
Yeah, other side of the tunnel doesn't count.
Yeah.
Sure. And then my dad worked at college in Oklahoma. We moved there when I was 7, so same age that our oldest is, with us making this transition, which is wild. Rebecca and I met in Arkansas. My family and I moved back there in 2006, right when I started high school. And Rebecca and I were best friends in high school before we ever started dating. So we met in the youth group, both went to public schools, and so kind of are not your typical Harding couple. We've got a few years to our advantage above the, meet in college, get married right as you graduate kind of story.
So you were graduated before you got married?
No, we got married in college, but the point is that we met in high school.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you didn't go to Harding to find your.
Right. Yeah. The marriage factory.
But it's a good thing you're Harding alum, because a lot of our congregation, that's where their stories start too, is at Harding.
Yeah, we met a lot of good Harding folks, but you can be great Christians even if you didn't go to Harding.
Yeah. I didn't even know Harding was. I was born and raised in Fort Smith. And never knew Harding was a thing until I got married and started coming to Southside.
Oh, wow. Excellent.
So it was not even in my field of knowledge. But you said that you consider Chickasha to be did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, you did. Good job. I'm impressed.
Well, we lived in Norman for a few years while my husband was in college, and so I knew what Chickasha was.
Yeah. Rogers is only 4 hours from Chickasha. They've got an amazing Christmas lights festival. I would love to. It's actually where I proposed to Rebecca.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to take this part again. It's where our kid is disrupting us a little bit, trying to do this interview with both parents while our 3-year-old is like, what are they doing in there?
Mm-hmm. Need to know.
Yeah. So there's a great Christmas lights festival there that my parents actually, helped run for a few years. And I would love to get back down there to see it. It's where I proposed to Rebecca, actually. And we've never been back since I proposed to her. Yeah. So I lived there for 7 years. We had a great experience, a lot of good people we're still friends with. today. But, consider Arkansas home. I've got a huge, like the original, the huge plastic hog hat in storage somewhere that as soon as I get down to my parents' storage unit for Christmas, I'm going to try to find that thing. It's got to go with us to Northwest Arkansas. Rebecca doesn't love it.
So you guys are, well, so Jared's a hog fan.
Yes.
I'm just not really a sports.
I feel you. I'm not either, but I know that Razorback and Hogs is kind of the only acceptable answer when it comes to sports teams around here. So
yeah. Huge Razorback fan, absolutely huge. I bet that come game time this weekend, you'll hear me calling the Hogs from Massachusetts.
Yeah.
If you listen. Yeah.
I think we're doing well this year. I have seen that.
Oh, it's been an exciting year. Unbelievable.
So you guys met in college, but you guys knew each other, or no, you met in high school, but married in college. So you guys have been married for how long now?
It'll be 10 years in May.
Oh, wow. And you got 2 girls?
2 girls. Lucy is 3.5 and Ava just turned 7.
Okay. Yeah. So 1 in school and 1 still at home?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Any more for you guys?
No.
Hey, that's what I said after 1, and I've got 3 boys. So you never can tell.
Yeah, I would love more, but I don't have to be pregnant. So
right.
Yeah, Rebecca is the one who's winning this argument at the moment.
Very happy with our family of 4.
That's very compassionate of you to take that into consideration.
We do have a dog and a cat.
Okay.
Got a hound dog. We got him, a month after we graduated college and I started my first full-time ministry job. We got a puppy. And then we found out Rebecca was pregnant. It was a real whirlwind. And so he is almost 8. And we just got a kitty for Christmas. We weren't anticipating the move when we got the kitty. That complicates things a little bit.
Yeah.
So what's their names? Your animals.
The dog is Bilbo, like the Hobbit. And then the cat is Marigold. And she is wild.
Yeah.
I mean, she's almost 2, but she's very much a kitten still.
Oh, yeah. Is she just a tabby or
She's a calico.
Oh, wow.
Tortoise shell. And apparently that's the whole thing. Tortitude is what people call it. It's
how am I just hearing this for the first time?
I don't know. But apparently people say, oh yeah, the tortitude is real. I don't know what that means other than that she is crazy. And so
I caught her trying to jump out of a 2nd-story window like 20 minutes ago, by the way, but I saved her. It's all good.
She's crazy, but she's really fun.
So a funny story about Bilbo. We have he was an elder here for a long time, but his name is Bill Bohannon. And my husband, when he first met Bill, everybody calls him Bill Bohannon. And so my husband thought his name was Bilbo Hannon. I was like, that's so cool because of Lord of the Rings. But and this is the first time they're going to hear this too. But yeah, he thought his name was Bilbo.
That's really funny.
We always can tell how nerdy people are when we tell them the name of our dog and whether or not they understand the reference.
Yeah, whether or not they say, wait, what?
Yeah,
Or they're like, oh,
a lot of people call him Bobo, which drives me insane. So if you want to stay on my good side.
I think my husband and I we're going to be one of the more nerdy people here. But maybe that will make us fast friends.
Hopefully so.
Yeah.
So hobbies outside of children and work, what do you guys like to do?
Well, speaking of nerdy things, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Behind us, as you can see in our Zoom interview here, I've got my Star Wars books collection that I started when I was like 8 years old, and just have that kind of personality where once I start something, I go all in with every fiber of my being. And so I'm still collecting the same books and reading them that I started when I was, a kid. Really enjoy the Star Wars as a mythology, story of good and evil, some good sermon illustrations there, and really have found a good community of people who I network with. So it's become a community for me. I've been writing and podcasting for a Star Wars site for a couple of years now. So it's been a great way to meet people outside the church, people who have all kinds of different beliefs and opinions, and it's been a good way to influence them. And consuming media is one thing, having something you're passionate about, but then creating is a totally different outlet. So it's helped me to become a better writer, a better storyteller. Podcasting has made me a better preacher. And so it has become something that's more than just, I very rarely actually sit down to watch the movies. It's so much more than that. And so we've actually already discovered a couple of the really cool bookstores up there in Northwest Arkansas. There's one right in the heart of Dixon Street. That place is amazing. This used bookstore, I got heckled by a couple of drunks for going in the bookstore.
Yes.
They're calling me a nerd during a Razorback game when I was there for a recent interview. And Rebecca's also a book lover.
The books.
I read a lot. I don't read Star Wars books, but
you don't.
I do read a lot, and I garden a lot, and that is one of our big exciting dreams for moving to Northwest Arkansas, is having some more space for gardening. I'm a huge animal lover and hope to add to our animal count some chickens and maybe goats along the way, and bunnies, and I don't know, sky's the limit. So
we have 2 dogs, 2 cats. I don't know, like 16 chickens by this point. We just had some hatched the other day. 2 ducks and a rabbit.
That's wow. Great. That's so fun.
Yeah. I prefer the the egg layers, the hens that are doing something. My husband prefers the little babies because he wants to be their mama. But yeah, we've got a little farm in the city limits, which is not technically allowed, but our neighbors have told us that they're okay with because we have some roosters too.
Yeah, that's
definitely not allowed.
Yeah.
Here I am telling on myself. So what kind of books do you prefer, if not fantasy?
So I read kind of a lot of everything. I more than 100 books a year kind of thing. So it's
okay, wait, but how do you have the time?
A lot of audiobooks. And
she's a fast reader.
And I'm a fast reader.
Unbelievably fast reader. She had a book the other day. She started in the evening, and like 11 o'clock, I was like, you need to put it away and go to sleep. But she had maybe 100 pages left. She's like, I can finish it. And I was really trying to convince her to leave it. So very much a finish a book in one day kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. I think that's a skill. That's a skill for sure.
Yeah, with audiobooks.
You can read fast and comprehend what you're reading. So
yeah, her attention isn't always amazing.
People will say, oh, what was that book about? And I'm like, that was 10 books ago. I don't know. So
yeah, and I like to listen to the audiobooks too. A lot of that is because I'm a runner and like to have something to go with me out on a run or a hike or something like that. Very outdoorsy family. Obviously Rebecca with the garden, and her foot is injured. So, that's an issue at the moment, but when that is healed, we definitely like to get out and about. And us saying that we're both readers makes it sound like we're just sitting around all the time, which is far from true.
Normally I love hiking and being outside. That's been a little bit limited lately.
Those are going to be great, fantastic things here because we've got a lot of great outdoor hiking and trails and all that. So a runner, huh? Man, that's also my husband and I, we just became walkers.
There you go. That's a good step.
Started walking.
It looks like there's a lot of
that's more my speed.
It looks like there's a lot of great places to run and ride up in Northwest Arkansas. So I'm looking forward to breaking in some of the trails.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. So about Star Wars. So I know that the books go in a lot deeper and more story than the movies, but can you tell us which one is your favorite movie?
Oh yeah, definitely The Empire Strikes Back. I mean, that's the classic answer. I'll have different movies that mean more to me at different times in life. Really enjoyed Revenge of the Sith recently. Some of the Shakespearean acting from the Emperor, Ian McDiarmid, is that his name? Anyway, I've given that one as an answer recently, but you can't beat The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, a classic for sure. Okay, so how or why did you get into ministry?
Yeah, this is a big topic. How much time do we have? I was 5 years old, sitting in church at the West Side Church of Christ in Russellville, we had just come out of Bible class, and the teacher had asked us, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I found my classmates' answers dissatisfying. And I remember sitting in church feeling like having this existential crisis of what am I going to do with my life at 5 years old? And the preacher started preaching, and I was just hooked and enthralled and in love with every word that came out of his mouth. And I realized, this is what I want to do. This is it. Well, since then, I've had that calling confirmed in so many other ways. I've wavered from the path a time or two along the way, though not often. I was in a heavy metal band in high school. That's a topic for another day. But it was a retired minister at our church in Oklahoma who told me about the Oklahoma preacher training camp and offered to pay my way and said, I know this is what you want to do, and I've got a friend that runs this, and I think that you would be great for it. And gratefully had that opportunity to go to that for a few years, which was a good chance to kind of have a crucible for, do I want to be in ministry, and can I handle this, and what all is involved in the public speaking and the study of the text and the character formation of it all. We had a youth minister in Oklahoma who also would take me along on like youth rallies and that sort of thing, and would try to teach me what he was doing, give me advice and mentor me. And that was invaluable along the way. I wanted to make a difference in people's lives, in an eternal difference, rather than, I've cut firewood for money here and there, and I had a profitable lawn mowing business as a teenager. But ministry, you get let into people's lives in such an amazing way. The highest of highs and the lowest of lows. You get to be there for people, and getting to study the Bible for a living and then communicate that is just really the greatest job on planet Earth. And so there are times when it's tough, but it's definitely a love of mine, and thankfully found somebody who was also ministry minded in Rebecca.
Yeah. Team. You guys are a team. And so so I'm guessing you went to college for
for Bible. I majored in Bible and missions at Harding, mostly because missions actually offered the most Bible out of all the Bible degrees at Harding. And we were preparing to do some sort of mission work. We both did studies abroad in college. Rebecca did 2 semesters in Zambia, as her dad would lead those programs. She went, when did you go?
I went my senior year of high school because my dad was the teacher for it. And then again in 2010.
Yeah. And then right? So I went the next year. I went in 2011. So separately. And we came back from that realizing we weren't cut out to be African missionaries. So we've been doing what we consider domestic mission work in New England now for 5 years, and something we've prepared for and have enjoyed and have loved, and are grateful to have had this experience. And I've been getting my master's degree since 2013. As soon as I got out of college, I've been working on a master's slowly while working full time, and I'm 1 class away. Should graduate in May, Lord willing.
Wonderful. That's a long time to
yeah, it is. It is.
We didn't have any kids when I started. Now we have a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Yeah. That's so was it like 1 class a semester?
For the most part, yeah. There's been semesters where I haven't been able to take any. There's been semesters where I've taken 2 or 3. So it's been a little bit start and stop as we've moved a couple of times along the way, and had kids. So, but yeah, for the most part, it's been a way for me to just continue to learn. Otherwise, ministry can become spiritually exhausting, where you're giving out all the time and never taking in. And so it's been a structured way for me to continue to learn and grow. And I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. And Rebecca, what's your degree in? My
degree was in early childhood education, but I did my student teaching and kind of realized it was a mistake. It just wasn't for me, not something that I wanted to actually pursue a career in. It's really hard for a lot of people to be, 18, 19, 20 years old and decide what they want to do with their lives. And so it was a really good college experience, and I had a lot of good classes, but don't plan on ever teaching in public schools or anything like that.
Do you plan to
or
do any
in
further
schools.
education?
What?
Any further education? Any?
No, but I have. So when I was pregnant with my first daughter, I kind of had a little identity crisis, and I was like, what am I going to do with my life? And started making art for her nursery. And I had never taken art classes or anything like that. I do have artists in my family, and realized it was something I really enjoyed. And so from then have made an art business, and I paint murals and really enjoy that.
That's awesome.
And so
That art is
logos
definitely
so
a skill.
yeah,
Definitely a skill.
It's one of the fun things about Northwest Arkansas is there's a really good public art scene, a lot of murals. And so it's an area that is already interested in that and exposed to it and wanting more of it. And so, obviously it'll be a competitive market for Rebecca to have to, relaunch her business in a new area, but it's promising that it's something that the area is already investing in.
Oh yeah, art and like Crystal Bridges is a very neat place. Yeah, I bet you'll do fantastic. And so what was your first ministry job, Jared?
So I had a lot of ministry experience in high school and college. My uncle was preaching in Bradford, Arkansas, so I had the chance to go preach out there once a month on Sunday nights for 7 years. So was grateful to have had that. But then full time, we moved to McGee, Arkansas. 2 weeks out of college, we graduated, we moved, we had a new house. That's when we got the puppy. And so we were there 2.5 years. It's a duck hunting and fishing area. And that's about it, farmland.
One time there was an alligator in the middle of the road on the way to Walmart.
Oh dear.
It's a really interesting area, but the church was wonderful, and they're still some of our biggest supporters. They'll tune into Jared's live streams, and
yeah,
it was a really interesting time of our lives, but it was great.
A really good first church to invest in us, take a chance on us, nurture us. Wonderful people. Yeah. The exact opposite corner of Arkansas from Rogers.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good a first experience, kind of a growing situation, which everybody needs.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
If you just start off great, you don't have any of those learning experiences. So I did peek a little at your resume there, Jared, and I saw something about the Caruso Experience. Can you explain that to us?
Sure. There's actually a number of churches in Northwest Arkansas that have been huge supporters of it, which is cool. I'm grateful for the way that this has been supported by churches in the area. It is a preacher training camp at Harding. So I mentioned having gone to one in Oklahoma City. While I was a student, Dr. McClarty, Bruce McClarty, who was the president, was vice president at the time, approached me and said, I know about this in Oklahoma and would love to pick your brain about starting one here at Harding. And then I became the Bible major recruiter about halfway through college. It was a part-time job. And one of my big projects then was to develop a ministry symposium, so like a summer camp for preachers. And I know it sounds nerdy, but we have a lot of fun. All right. Yeah. It's not as nerdy as it sounds. We have, some fun sports and activities, and we'll play water polo, which gets quite dangerous, but then we practice baptisms afterward. So there's that. We started it in 2013. I had to pitch this to all 35 Bible faculty as a student, my teachers and my bosses. Then we broke off into groups and they critiqued it. And then I had to develop a plan. I had to price out how much does it cost to feed this many students, and what would the schedule look like? And we called that first year the Caruso Experiment. Rebecca was really heavily involved in helping get that one off the ground. We've had hundreds of students who have come through at this point. I would love to get a total number. I think we've done 8 years. We did 4 years with a separate camp in St. Louis as well. What's cool is at this point, some of those first year students have now already finished college, and they were in high school at the time. Yeah. And now they've already, graduated high school, gone to college, most of them having become Bible majors, and have then graduated. A lot of them are out in full-time ministry now or in grad school with me, which is amazing. Really kind of humbling too. It makes me feel like the gray hairs are growing in when I see that they're already, in grad school with me.
You feel old.
Yeah, it's been a fun thing I can participate in the summers. Best part about it is it helps me to fall in love with preaching all over again every summer. So I get to go and have a week of an intense Bible class and a preaching class. And I help the students write their sermons and critique them kindly, with their sermons at the end. And so it's a way for me to come back just fired up to do better. And it's cool that I've got that in my job. I don't think many people have that in their professions.
And you're 30?
Yeah, we are. We're both 30.
That sounds like a lot of work and life since for only being 30.
Yeah, we've certainly stayed busy. We've had a lot of great experiences and opportunities. What's amazing about Caruso is that God really did something with it far beyond anything we could have planned.
Yeah.
We had a pitch, we had an idea, we had a template, but then people had to show up and they had to enjoy it. And wow, did God provide? And it's amazing. And thankfully, living in Rogers, I should get more of an opportunity to, do some recruiting for that and be closer to. Right now, it's like $500-$600 for me to fly in every year for the program, which is expensive. And so one of the big perks would be to be closer to help out with that.
Yeah. So in coming to Southside, what made Southside so attractive to you guys?
Well, it was really clear that it's a really tight-knit family, that people love each other, and that people have really high hopes and big dreams for the church, and people are invested and they love the church. And sure, there's been some ups and downs along the way, but it was really tangible to us that people really were committed and connected and hopeful for where we can go in the future. It's easy to go and take an interview at a church based on a resume or timing being right, but then showing up and actually connecting with people is totally a different story. And what we loved about our visits with Southside was people seemed to love us and we loved them. Mm-hmm. And we couldn't even go to sleep at night because we were just saying so many great things about the people we had met. Hey, did you hear what they said about this? Isn't that cool? And Rebecca, you want to take a turn on this one?
We had so many open and honest conversations with the elders. We haven't had a chance to meet everyone yet, and so we're so excited for that. But the conversations that we did have were just full of so much honesty and excitement and dreaming, and that was really incredible. And there were just, even walking through the building, we could just see so much intention in welcoming people and loving people. You could pick up a bulletin and see kids are welcome here, and you can walk into the nursing mother's room and say, like, mothers are welcome here. There's just so many.
And then that was true in it was not just in the bulletin. That ended up being true.
My sister visited with us and has a little baby, and she said that she just felt so welcome in the church, and that matters so much.
Yeah,
and so
it did. Yeah, she was like our spy. Yeah, obviously, the people were going to treat us kindly, but what about this random mother with a baby? Right. And they did. I think your mother was one of them, actually, who helped her, get situated. When she went to the nursing mother's room at one point, made sure she could hear the sermon, as if Ken has never heard me preach.
And tell us a couple things that you are excited to get started doing here at Southside once you get here.
Well, I think, thankfully, we're going to have a transition period where I'm not preaching every Sunday.
Right.
And what we're going to be spending the majority of our time doing the first few months is just getting to know people. Mm-hmm. We're going to need to have people in our home. We're going to need to be in people's homes. We're going to, hey,
you guys are going to eat
favorite...
a lot.
What's that?
You're going to eat a lot.
Hey, that's good. I can eat a lot. I'm hungry right now. The good news is, hey, if you've got like a favorite diner or a hole in the wall place that nobody else knows about, please let us know. A favorite food truck. I love food trucks. We're going to want to bond with people, develop trust. We want to know what people's ideas and dreams are and goals. I don't want to come in and just try to drive my agenda. or anything like that. We're excited to become part of the family, and that's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of time. We are excited to get to see the area and get connected in town. There's so many exciting opportunities in Northwest Arkansas in terms of nonprofits. There's one that teaches kids how to ride bikes, which is cool. Yeah, they even go into the schools and things.
Oh,
There's all kinds of community programs. What's that?
I need to get a hold of them. I've got to learn how to ride a bike.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of community programs where we would like to get involved, and the church needs to be involved in every aspect of the area's growth. Mm-hmm. More and more people are moving to this area, a huge influx of growth and young families, and the church has a responsibility to meet all these people with the good news. And so we're excited about the missional element of it all, the people who are flooding to this area and the great opportunity that is for the gospel.
Yeah, very good outlook there. I mean, I think I heard something like, I don't even know anymore, but so many people are moving to Northwest Arkansas. I mean, we don't even have enough houses for everybody.
Like, oh, trust me, we are.
Oh, you're experiencing that?
We're in the process of looking for a house. It's been crazy. Houses will show up on the market, and then 2 days later, they're gone.
Yeah, the market is kind of crazy right now.
Right. So the statistic I heard was it's grown by 25% in the last 10 years. Now, I don't have the source for that statistic, but it's what somebody told me. It was probably an elder, so I'm sure it was infallible.
Funny story. I was giving a kid a ride, and I was probably 32 at the time. So it was like, but he was like 19, and he was like, man, this place is like grown up and stuff. And we were commenting on it, and he goes, man, I bet by the time I'm your age, it's going to be like New York City.
By the time I'm your age.
I'm only 30.
Yeah, what gets me is this isn't a thing up here. People don't say sir and ma'am. In fact, to many, it's offensive. But really? Being a good Arkansan, this was driven into me as the gospel.
Yeah.
Respect and manners. But whenever we go back down to Arkansas, like when I work with Caruso in the summers, high school age boys, they call me sir. At the first couple years, I resisted it. And I was like, no, don't call me sir. I'm cool like you. And now I just embrace it.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a respect thing. So I'm guessing that like up in the north, they don't say things like Miss Ocean or Miss Rebecca. Do they say that, or do they?
They do, but
not often.
It's different for everyone.
Yeah.
So my friends wouldn't be surprised if my kids called them by their first name, but they also will sometimes say no, they wouldn't. They wouldn't say.
So what I will
trying to think if they would or not. Probably not.
What I will ask of the church.
We're gonna work on it, but please have patience with our kids. They're not being rude to you if they don't say sir or ma'am.
Yes, please just communicate that to us.
Except for Lucy, maybe she's being rude.
Introduce yourself to our kids, how you would like to be addressed, and that will help us, because it will take some time. Though we are Arkansans, it will take some time to readjust, and so our kids are not, like, they have not grown up in Arkansas, so they will need some time.
If you ask them a question and they just answer yeah, they're not being rude.
That's normal to them. Sure.
If I answer a question with yeah, I'm also not trying to be rude.
She's always been that way. It's because she was in Massachusetts for a few years.
When we lived here, we would get detention from teachers. My brother got detention once because he said yes, ma'am, to his teacher, and she thought that he was being like smart, or was being rude to her. So
worlds. So moving to Northwest Arkansas, I guess. Well, we know Jared's a Hog fan already. We know Rebecca doesn't.
I enjoy going to games. I would never like sit on the couch and watch a game.
You like to be there?
That would be very boring.
She does prefer that.
I could go to a game. I think that experience is fun. If there's something on the TV for me to watch, I will just be on my phone instead and like read a book.
The day I got the job, I teared up, and the first thing I said to Rebecca was, I'm gonna get to go to a Razorback baseball game in person. I haven't been in maybe 10 years.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, and this is a good time to come too, because like I said, we're doing well.
That's right.
And so when are you guys relocating here?
So we are moving from our house, Lord willing. All of these plans, can change.
Yeah.
The best laid plans of mice and men and all that. We're moving out of here December 21st. And we're going to have Christmas with our families in Searcy. And my job starts January 3rd. And we will need to have our oldest, all these puzzle pieces. You don't have to remember all this.
Okay.
First of the year.
Right.
I'll be there January 3rd. Yeah. With the house has to become available that we're trying to get. And then we have to make sure that we get moved out of our house here. And we've got to get our kid in school. There's many moving pieces, but I will be there. At the very least, I will be there the beginning of January. Can
you tell us where you guys are looking for? Are you guys looking in Rogers? Are you guys looking in Bentonville? Or because there might be a little rivalry there.
Rogers. Well, go ahead and tell them, Rebecca. I was keeping this kind of under wraps, but we can say it.
We have had an offer accepted on a house.
Oh, yay.
And that's very exciting. It feels a little bit surreal. We have our house is listing today here. And so, there are still all the contingencies and so we're still very prayerful and hopeful that things continue to go smoothly.
Trying not to count our chickens before they hatch.
Yes.
Before we have them.
But the house we found
is in Rogers.
Is 4 minutes from the church building. It has 1.5 acres. Mm-hmm. And so they already have chickens and goats on the property. So it's exciting.
The realtor was doing a FaceTime showing with us and a goat just ran up to her and it was so cute.
What's crazy is we put an offer in on a house that we have not seen in person. So it's a literal leap of faith.
Mm-hmm. That sounds perfect. Sounds really close to the church, but also close to everything around, but also with some land.
Yes. Which is not easy to find. No. Our realtor had the scoop before it listed and
we swept in on it quick. Yeah.
So we were the first ones to see it. We were the first ones to put in an offer.
So your kids might go to the same school. Well, I don't know.
I think we're in West Side Elementary
that's where my kids go.
I think, okay. But I don't really know all the different schools. So
yeah,
that's still a lot of moving pieces to figure out. We're very hopeful though.
Well, we will pray that works out for you.
Thank you.
So tell us about the difference in the weather. So I'm sure since you lived here before, but we get, we have bipolar weather. But I'm assuming up there you guys have the most beautiful Hallmark scenery, snow.
Well,
I mean, it's beautiful till you're shoveling it, I guess.
We're talking about snow 4 to 6 months of the year. And not just snow, but a 1.5 foot of snow every week for 6 weeks is normal in January, February, March. And that snow doesn't move itself. You have to physically get it out of the way so you can leave your driveway. Yeah. I will spend 2 hours a day in the winter just blowing snow.
But it is very pretty when it first lands.
No, it has not snowed yet. We did have snow by Halloween last year, but not this year. After the first year when we were really fighting it, we eventually said, let's just go with it. Let's try to enjoy it. So we do as much as possible. I got into snowboarding last year, so that was a lot of fun. Good way to enjoy winter till I got a concussion. That was a whole thing, but that won't be snowboarding in Arkansas. Thankfully there's central air conditioning in Arkansas. So when it does get hot in the summer, that will be okay. We don't have good air conditioning up here.
Central air?
No. Everybody just has window units. So on a really hot day, you just kind of sit by the window.
But there aren't as many really hot days. And it's usually in the summer here, you're just outside.
Yeah. But,
I imagine just like I said, Hallmark movies, that the scenery up there is really pretty. And so since you guys are so used to driving in snow, we're going to have less snow days here. I guarantee it. As far as church won't be closed because we know Jared can get here.
Well, we never cancel services here. Even in a snowstorm, we have services. It's just life.
Yeah.
We had so many more snow days growing up in Arkansas than our kids have had in Massachusetts, because with any snow,
the plows can move it, and there's the infrastructure is in place to get rid of the snow. School will be canceled or delayed usually just because of the school buses. It's harder, but No, church hasn't really ever been canceled here for snow ever.
But the weather, hey, there's a number of times when the weather is really, really perfect. In general, I'm looking forward to Arkansas weather again, maybe more than Rebecca.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say.
But from what I'm told, Northwest Arkansas is for the
More
Arkansas
temperate.
areas, it's just beautiful. Like, especially compared to, when we were in Southeast Arkansas or even Searcy, like it's just so beautiful. And so, as long as I can get some seasons and some
we'll have
scenery,
all the seasons.
I'm good. I'm good with that.
Okay, that's exciting. So tell us a couple other little like differences between North and South. Like, so down here we eat chocolate gravy. Is that a thing?
It is for us because
not up here. If I mentioned it to somebody up here, I mean,
this is fun.
No idea.
I did a chocolate gravy breakfast for church a couple years ago. Because it's a family tradition for me. My grandfather, makes it for Christmas, and my mom used to make it every Christmas morning. But our church had never heard of it, so I made chocolate gravy for the whole church a couple years ago, and you should have seen the frightened looks on some of the people's faces as they, through gritted teeth, put it on their biscuit. Other big differences would be a lot of fish, clam chowder, lobster, a lot of fried, haddock, cod. In the South, I remember just catfish and crawfish. So, oh man, I just got hungry. What else? At the grocery store. We shop with carriages up here.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah.
In the South, I use a buggy.
Well, I call it a cart, but
cart's kind of neutral. Yeah. If anybody else calls it buggy, let me know. I will call it a buggy with a huge smile on my face. There's a number of other things.
They don't say y'all. Do you guys say y'all?
He does.
I do, yeah. Well, it's biblical. It's biblical. In Greek, in the New Testament, there is a second person plural pronoun. There is not in English unless you use y'all. So I'm just trying to be biblical.
Right. Yeah.
And Southern.
That's a good one. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we are going to end with a little bit of a lightning round of questions to kind of see what side you guys fall on. So just answer your preference. Okay. So favorite book of the Bible?
Psalms.
Nehemiah.
Favorite church song?
Come Thou Fount.
What's that? Number 8. What's it? Let every heart rejoice and sing. That one.
Okay. I don't know that one off the top of my head.
Okay.
Season of the year?
Summer.
Fall.
Favorite sports team?
Not.
Definitely the Razorbacks. Big Oklahoma City Thunder fan as well. Pittsburgh Steelers also.
Oh, okay. Favorite movie?
Jurassic Park.
I already said Empire Strikes Back. I also love That Thing You Do. Tom Hanks
I love
comedy.
That. I haven't seen that in forever.
About a one-hit wonder band. Yeah.
That was a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Coffee or tea?
Both.
Definitely coffee. I hate tea. Unless it's sweet tea.
Which, that's a question. Sweet tea is a thing down south. Do they drink tea?
No. Very rarely. The world has become more globalized. And so there are more like fast food restaurants. Like we got a Popeyes last year. So they've got pretty good sweet tea, but it's still not the same as homemade.
Well, and Chick-fil-A, it has good tea. I hear. I don't drink tea, but
yeah, excited about the sweet tea. I'll have to get to know the local dentists for all the sugar.
Well, we've got a few here.
Yes.
So, sweet or savory?
Sweet.
Savory.
Morning person or evening person?
Evening.
Yeah. Dogs or cats?
All.
Dogs.
All animals.
Definitely dogs, but I'm surprised with how much I like our cat. We've bonded.
And is it pecan or pecan?
Pecan.
All right.
Nice.
Is that Southern?
Yeah. I wonder, is it
pecan?
Pecan? Is that a Southern thing?
I don't know. I just think that
our neighbor in McGee had a huge pecan tree and would bring us some every now and then. That was awesome.
I call it pecan, but I do know people that say pecan. But yeah, so that was fun. So any last words for Southside before we get off here?
I want to say thank you for giving us this chance. It's going to take some time to get to know everybody and for people to get to know us. Just want to ask for grace and patience and hey, I can handle the truth and I'm a straight shooter. You can be honest with me. We can take it. We're just looking forward to get to know everybody. Want to ask for clear and open communication. We don't have to keep secrets from each other. And, we're excited to pave a path forward and just be a part of the church. We're part of this family that's so wonderful. We've already come to know and love, and we're going to bring our best, and would ask that others, give us that chance.
We're very excited. Our girls are excited and a little nervous to move, but they're excited.
Living in Northwest Arkansas has been my dream my entire life. And so this is really a dream come true.
That's all. And then how long a drive is that going to be for you? Are you guys going to drive that whole way?
We have to. We've never driven it since we moved here. We've always flown because it's so crazy far and I've got a bad back. It's 21 and a half hours according to Apple Maps, which is shorter than I expected. We're going to go a different route than we would go when we would go to Searcy. So we will actually go down through Ohio, Indiana. So we'll see some wild states we've never been to. Yeah.
Fun little road trip.
Oh yeah. A big road trip, not a little road trip.
That's true. Well, thanks guys. Thanks for
Thank you.
Thanks, Ocean.
Us, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Likewise. God bless.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. You can find more episodes by visiting our website, our YouTube page, and our app.